Dr. Carol Talbot, the creator and founder of the Possibility Hub, taking you beyond the boundaries of who you believe yourself to be and opening to new possibilities. This podcast is an advocate for awakening, encouragement, and creating opportunities for an expansion of awareness and consciousness to allow you to step into a fuller focus of who you really are. In this episode, you're about to embark on a mind-bending journey, a journey through time. And no, you don't need a flux capacitor or a DeLorean. And what you do need is an open mind and a willingness to see time and your future differently. Do you remember the classic movie Back to the Future? In the movie, Marty McFly, played by Michael J. Fox, accidentally travels back in time in a DeLorean car invented by the eccentric Doc Brown. Marty lands in 1955, where he inadvertently interferes with his parents' meeting, risking his own existence. He then has to ensure his parents fall in love while finding a way back to his present timeline. It's a fun adventure, but it also subtly highlights something profound about time and cause and effect. What happens in the future affects the present, and what happens in the present shapes the future. And what if I told you that time isn't as linear as you've been taught? What if you could step into your future, anchor your vision there, and create your present from that perspective? Let's explore how you can create powerful outcomes not by working forward from your past, but by reaching back from your envisioned future. So are you ready? Buckle up, because we're about to travel back to the future. Let's start with a fundamental idea. Time is not a straight line moving from the past to the present and into the future. Instead, time flows from the future into the present and then into the past. So think about it. In every moment, you're imagining and projecting what you want your future to look like, dreaming of goals, envisioning outcomes, feeling emotions tied to those desires. Now that vision of your future influences the decisions you make in the present, and those present actions then become your past. So here's a simple metaphor. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a river. The water flows toward you. It doesn't originate behind you. Now your future is like that river, flowing toward you, full of potential and possibility. The key is to understand that your vision of the future is not some distant, unreachable place. It's a living potential, a guide that's shaping your now. Imagine planting seeds on the riverbank, and each seed represents an intention, a goal, or a dream. And the river carries those seeds downstream to a fertile valley where they bloom into your reality. And here's the catch. You can't plant weeds and expect roses. Your focus, your intention, and clarity determine the harvest. So imagine planting it as a seed in the river of time and visualize the current carrying it forward. Now this shift in perspective is powerful because it liberates you from the weight of your past. Instead of dragging old stories, old beliefs and limitations into your creative process, you're free to create from an unbounded vision of what's possible. Remember, your future is not a destination. It's an active participant in your present. When you have thoughts, dreams, and ideas, those thoughts don't exist in isolation. They create patterns in the morphogenetic field, a field of information that shapes your reality. And when you focus on a specific outcome with clarity and with intention, you're imprinting that field with your blueprint. So just for a moment, think of how birds fly in perfect formation without verbal communication. It's as if they're tapping into a shared field of information. So it's your thoughts and focus that create templates in the morphogenetic field. And just as birds instinctively follow an invisible blueprint in the sky, your conscious and unconscious minds work together to follow that blueprint you've imprinted in the morphogenetic field. And this partnership is where vision meets action, and intention transforms into reality. Now, I often call the conscious mind the goal setter and the unconscious mind the goal getter, because really they're partners in creation. Your conscious mind is the logical, analytical part of your brain. It's responsible for critical thinking, decision-making, and processing immediate information. And it's only the tip of the iceberg. It represents about 5 to 10% of your mental capacity. Your unconscious mind, on the other hand, is the powerhouse beneath the surface. It governs your habits, your emotions, memories, and automatic functions like breathing and your heartbeat. And more importantly, it operates outside the constraints of linear time. In fact, your unconscious mind isn't bound by time. So this is where dreams often act as a bridge between your present reality and your future potential. Famous inventors and creators like Nikola Tesla and Elias Howe reported receiving profound insights in their dreams. Tesla described seeing entire inventions laid out before him during sleep, and Howe dreamt of a needle with a hole in its tip, solving a major problem in the sewing machine's design. Your unconscious mind is constantly connected to the timeless field of potential, and it doesn't distinguish between past, present, or future. It simply receives, processes, and delivers information. Think of your unconscious mind like a quantum computer that processes data across dimensions. When you intentionally program it with clear questions, it begins working across these timelines to deliver answers. So before you sleep tonight, ask your unconscious mind a clear question about your future, and you can frame it simply like, what is one insight I need to step into my highest vision? Then upon waking, write down any images, words, or feelings. Your unconscious mind is like a deep, deep ocean. Your conscious mind floats on the surface, seeing only the waves. And below the surface lies a vast expanse of wisdom and answers when you ask the right questions. So your unconscious mind is not limited by time. It's actually a bridge to your future self. And your dreams are not random. They're blueprints from your future self. And speaking of blueprints from your future self, let's take a moment to reimagine time itself. What if time isn't a straight line from past to future or future to past, but it's something far more dynamic, something that mirrors the patterns we see in nature, in ourselves, and even in the stars above? So let me introduce you to the concept of time as a spiral. And it's this pattern that exists everywhere, in galaxies, hurricanes, seashells, and even in our DNA. The spiral represents infinite cycles of growth, evolution, and expansion. On a microcosmic level, the spiral represents your inward journey, a deep dive into self-awareness, introspection, and understanding. Every turn inwards reveals more layers of truth, more layers of clarity and insight. Now, on a macrocosmic level, the spiral expands outward infinitely, representing endless potential, universal wisdom, and infinite possibility. And the further outward you move, the broader your perspective becomes. So picture yourself walking both inward and outward on a spiral staircase, for example, and each step inward takes you closer to your core essence, and each step outward expands your awareness of the universe. The spiral teaches us that there is always more to discover, more to experience, and more to become. Every cycle builds upon the last, and every new turn offers fresh potential. And to me, personally, the spiral represents infinite growth, both inward and outward, and again, as I said, the fact that there is always more. Now, just as the spiral reveals infinite layers of growth and potential, quantum physics also offers us a profound bridge to understanding how we can connect across time and space. Through the phenomena of entanglement, we see that distance and separation are illusions, and this principle holds the key to connecting with your future self. In quantum physics, entanglement describes how two particles, no matter how far apart, can instantly influence one another. Imagine twins separated at birth who still feel each other's emotions across the world. Now that's a metaphor for quantum entanglement. You and your future self are like those entangled particles, already connected, already exchanging energy and information. Your future self, the one who's living your vision, who's already succeeded, that exists energetically and it's connected to you right now. And you can feel their presence, hear their guidance and align with that wisdom. So think of your future self as a lighthouse beam cutting through the fog, guiding your ship safely to shore. Imagine your future self standing right in front of you. And now ask your future self, what's one step I can take today to align with you? Your future self isn't just a vision. It's a collaborator, an ally, and trust that connection because you are already entangled with your most empowered future self. Now, the old thinking and the old model around manifestation and materialization has been rooted in Newtonian logic. Newtonian thinking is linear and predictable. So if I do X, I'll get Y. It's cause and effect in a very rigid sequence. Newtonian thinking operates like following a recipe. So if you combine specific ingredients in precise measurements, follow the instructions step by step, you'll produce the expected result, a cake, for example. So in this cause and effect model, everything follows a predictable sequence. Action A leads to outcome B. And life, as we know, doesn't always work like baking a cake. Sometimes, despite following all the right steps, the outcome just doesn't match the expectation. And this is where a deeper, more quantum perspective comes into play, one that moves beyond linear cause and effect thinking and embraces a field of infinite possibilities. The quantum perspective says anything is possible. Infinite outcomes exist simultaneously until one is observed and brought into form. So manifesting your future is actually less about rigid planning and more about allowing. It's about stepping into that feeling, the energy, and the frequency of your desired outcome. It's about being open to extraordinary synchronicities and outcomes that are beyond the logical mind. So here's an example. Have you ever had a moment where everything just clicked? You met the right person, got the right opportunity, or had an insight that changed everything? Well, that's the quantum field at work, and it's available to you all the time. At the quantum level, every possible future already exists. Infinite doors, infinite pathways, and infinite possibilities are waiting for you. That's exciting, right? So manifesting your future isn't always about rigid planning. It's about aligning with the energy of the possibility you desire. So right now, visualize standing in front of a row of glowing doors. And those doors each represent a future potential. And as you stand in front of those glowing doors, Which one feels alive and vibrant? Step through it and feel its energy. And remember, the future isn't a fixed point. It's a field of infinite possibilities. Now, when we think about the future as a field of infinite possibilities, it naturally brings us to one of the most intriguing questions about time, choice, and consequence. Enter the grandfather paradox, a classic thought experiment that challenges our understanding of cause and effect across timelines. So let's unravel this paradox and see what it reveals about the nature of your choices and their ripple effect through time. In this thought experiment, if you were to travel back in time and prevent your grandfather from meeting your grandmother, you would never have been born. But here's the dilemma. If you were never born, how could you have travelled back in time? Now, while it's a paradox, it raises a fascinating point about cause and effect, because in our traditional understanding, we believe cause leads to effects in a forward motion. And what if the future could also be the cause? And what if your envisioned future could pull you forward, shaping the actions and decisions that you make today? In essence, your future self, the one who has already achieved that dream, that goal, that success, could be whispering back to you, guiding your present self towards the steps needed to realize that reality. And it's not science fiction. Athletes, top performers, and visionary leaders, they all often talk about visualizing their success, feeling as if it's already happened, and acting from that state of being. So let me finish this short podcast and let's do a quick exercise together. So I'd like you to close your eyes if it's safe to do so. And as you close your eyes, take a deep breath in and out. Now imagine it's 1 year from today, and you've achieved your most important goal. You're living your dream outcome. What do you see around you? What do you hear? How do you feel? So see what you see, hear what you hear, feel what you feel. And as you do that, look back from that future point all the way back to now, to today. And as you look back, what were the key actions, the key decisions and insights that brought you here? What advice does your future self have for you now? What would your future self tell you to do right now? So just take a moment to let those insights settle. Remember, time flows from the future into the now. Your dreams are doorways to insight, and your future is a field of infinite potential. Time is not your enemy, nor is it something you need to fight against. It's a fluid medium you can shape, mold, and dance with. By living from your future, instead of merely working toward it, you unlock a new level of creativity, alignment, and ease. So I'll leave you with this. What future are you stepping into today? Thank you for joining me on this journey back to the future. And until next time, keep expanding, keep imagining, and remember, the future is already calling you. Thank you for tuning into this episode, and I'm delighted to be sharing possibilities with you. If you want more, then check out the links and programs on my website, thepossibilityhub.com, or tune in to my YouTube channels, The Possibility Hub or Carol Talbot, for new, insightful interviews each week. And if you feel others can benefit from listening in, then please go ahead, share, review, or like, or follow me on Instagram, carolktalbot. Because remember, you're always more than you think you are.